Hey guys, this is Mr. Sal. I'm gone for the day. I'm just not feeling very well. And so I hope you guys have a good day and a good lesson. This is just a video for the lesson. It's going to be the same one that I'm going to be putting on Canvas. So hopefully that's good. You guys are going to need the green paper in the basket, same place as usual. Make sure you guys have one because that has all the stuff we're going to be going over for this lesson, okay? So work hard on this belt work hard on the lesson. I expect you guys to know this stuff when I get back. It's not like we're gonna go over it extensively because the video is gonna explain everything that I would if I were in person, okay? So good luck on it, and 1 minute for this bell work, 1 minute go. All right, and here are the answers. And here's our objective for today. Go and take about 30 seconds to copy this down. I can find tips, tax, commissions, and discounts. About 30 seconds, go. All right, so number one, a group of 4 people went out to eat. The bill before tax was $42.50. The tax rate is 6.75%, and the group decides to leave a 15% tip. How much does each person need to contribute? So we're looking at all 4 people on this one, but it may be good to figure out how much total they were going to leave because we have the bill before the tax rate, and then the tip is also based on the before tax amount as well. Okay, so let's figure out how much tax they're going to be paying first. Let's just start with the tax portion of this. And since these are all percentages, we are looking at using the percent proportion for each of these problems. So we're going to be using either scale factors, cross multiplication, or fish method to solve these. I'll probably be using fish method on these just because it's kind of quick, but you can use cross multiplication on these, of course. So here's what we know. It's going to be out of 100, and again, this is for the tax, and the tax shows at 6.75%, so that goes right above 100. Now, if we think about the 42.50, that's the whole amount of the bill, right? So since it's the whole, it's the total amount, which means that it needs to go in the denominator of that second fraction. So that'd be 42.50 right here, which means we're trying to find the unknown part or the amount of the tax, right? And so when we solve this, it will tell us the tax, and this will be what we need to add to the total amount of the bill before tax, which was $42.50, right? So that would be from the bill. And so the total will include the tax, but it will also include the tip. Okay, so once we figure out the tax, we'll put it into this sum for the amount that we would need to pay. But again, that still doesn't solve the problem, because it's asking how much does each person need to contribute. So let's go ahead and solve that tax part of this, right? So I'd use fish method for this one. So that'd be $42.50 times 675 divided by 100. So I'm just going to put that directly into my calculator. Let's see what we get on that. 42.50 times 6.75 divided by 100, and I get, this is 2.868. So I'm going to round that up to 2.87 on that one. That's how much tax would have been charged on that, 2.87 right there. Okay, and that's in dollars. So that's the tax. But what about the tip? Well, the tip is going to work exactly the same way. It's just the percent is going to change, right? So with our percent proportion, it's still out of 100, but this time we're going to leave a 15% tip right here. So that goes right there. And again, it's 15% of the $42.50. So that goes in the denominator. And again, we're solving for the numerator right here. So I would use, again, it doesn't matter if you use cross multiplication or fish method. It's going to give you the same answer either way. So I would say you got $42.50 times 15 divided by 100. And whatever that is the tip amount. So let's go ahead and put that in. 42.50 times 15 divided by 100 equals, I get 6.375. So for me, I'm going to write that as 6.38 if I rounded that up to the nearest cent anyway. So that's 6.38 there. So now what I want is the total amount, the grand total of the bill, which is just the sum of those three numbers, 42.50 plus 2.87 plus 6.38. And I push enter on my calculator, and I get $51.75. But again, this was for the 4 people that they mentioned up here, right? It's for 4 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that $51.75, and we're going to divide it amongst 4 people. And whatever that is going to be how much each person would pay. So I got $51.75, divide that by 4. Again, I'm just using the calculator on this one, and this looks like it's going to need to be rounded up because I got 12.9375 on my calculator. I'm just going to round this to the nearest penny, which is in the hundredths place value. So the 7 right there makes that round up 1, which now makes that 3 a 4. So $12.94 for each person would be the total amount each person would contribute. $12.94. And if you want to be more specific on that, just write per person. There we go. All right, a haircut costs $20. Sales tax is 4.75%. Is $25 sufficient to cover the haircut with a tax and a 15% tip? So this is going to work the same way. We have the total amount of the bill, right? Which we see is $20. That's how much the haircut costs. But in addition to that, we got to factor in tax and also a tip. So whatever we get from those, we're going to add those together, and then we're going to see if a $25 funds would cover all that bill, okay, or the grand total. So let's go and start with the tax. Okay, so the tax right here, again, we're going to use a percent proportion because we are looking at percentages. Specifically, the tax is 4.75%. So 4.75 here equals, again, we don't know how much that tax is, so that's our unknown right there, or corresponds with the 4.75, or that it's part of the bill, right? And so what we need now is the total amount of the tax, or the whole amount, or we're comparing it with the whole amount, rather, which was the $20. And again, we're just going to solve this. I'm going to use some fish method on this one. And yeah, that'd be 20 times 4.75 divided by 100. And whatever this equals, that's how much the tax will be. So I just go straight to my calculator. 20 times 4.75 divided by 100. And I get 0.95. So that's 95 cents. So it's looking good so far. And some of you guys may think, well, I don't really care what the tip is after that. We'll just leave whatever's left, and then if I give them 25 bucks, then the tip is what it is, okay? You know, and I'm not familiar with haircuts. I've always cut my own hair. I've never got my hair cut in any kind of, by any type of professional. So I don't know if this is reasonable, like to leave a, would that be a $4.05 tip for someone? But let's see if this is sufficient, okay? So the tip on this one, again, we're going to use a percent proportion. We always got our 100 right there. This is a 15% tip right there. So it's 15 over 100. The percent always goes above 100. And the total amount of the bill would have been 20 bucks. But we're trying to figure out a percentage of that, so we'll look at our unknown X right there, which corresponds, it should be just next to the 15. And from here, we'll use some fish method to solve this. So again, we got 20 times 15 divided by 100. And whatever this equals, that's how much the tip is. So 20 times 15, I'm just using a calculator, divided by 100 equals 3. So that's a $3 tip right there. And once again, we could just add all these together to figure out how much total that would be with a 15% tip, 95-cent tax, and a $20 haircut. So let's go ahead and add those together, and behold, we get $23.95. That's how much the grand total would be. And so, yeah, this is looking like that $25 is going to be sufficient. So actually, the final answer on this one is just a yes on that, right? Because it would only cost $23.95. Now, of course, I would recommend just leaving that extra $1.05 for the haircut person, hair specialist. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, that would be, I guess, the more courteous thing to do. But you know, if you were wondering, it's if you had a 15% tip with the 4.75% tax and $20 haircut, would $25 be sufficient? Yes, it would. All right, number 3, Maria and Sally have $880 to buy a computer. The regular price for the computer they want is $1,049, but the store is offering a 20% discount, and then there's a sales tax of 5.25% added after the discount. Okay, so it's discounted, and then the sales tax, it looks like it's added after the discount. So we got to figure out how much this price is after the discount, and then that 5.25% is based on the discounted price, not the $1,049. So do Maria and Sally have enough money to buy the computer? Well, that's what we're going to figure out, okay? So let's start with the discount first, because we need the discount in order to figure out how much the tax is going to be. And yeah, we'll be using a percent proportion on this one, with 100 right here. Now, this one isn't, it can be pretty direct on this stuff, okay? But there's a couple different ways to look at solving this problem. So I'm gonna do this 2 different ways, and then you can figure out which way that you like the best or the way that you feel is most consistent with the way that you think, or sticks with you, so that you know you can go with either method. Okay, so I'm going to start by using the 20% as it is. Now it's 20% discount up there. So the 20% discount, that's going to come off of the price. So whatever I get as a result on this one, I'm going to subtract it off of the $1,049. Okay, but that's 20% off of, well, $1,049 right there, which means we want to figure out how much that 20% is, which is only part of that total. So solving this one, well, once again, I'm going to use some fish method on this one. So that'd be 1,049 times 20 divided by 100. And yeah, I'm going to use my calculator to put that in. 1,049 times 20 divided by 100 equals $209.80 is what I get. Okay, so that's one way to find the amount the discount is. Now, of course, we're going to need to subtract that off of the price that was given to us, which was $1,049, right? So we're going to take that, subtract it, and this would be how much the price would be after the discount. So $1,049 minus that $209.80. In my calculator, it's showing $839.20. Okay, so this is the discounted price right there. Now remember, they have $880. So if that was just the price and there was no tax, they'd be fine. Okay, now I'm going to show you a different way to find, and it's kind of a shortcut. Some students like it, some students don't. Again, you get to decide if you like it or not. It's still a percent proportion, but when I solve this proportion, it's going to give me the $839.20 right away. All right, because the 20% is discounted. So really we could think about it not in terms of what the discount is, but how much of the original percentage we're going to be paying, right? What I mean by that is, since it's 20% discount, you would usually have paid 100%, but we're going to take off 20%, which means really you're paying 80% of the price, okay? So see how I'm in red there, I used 20%, but now I'm using 80 rather, because I'm going to be paying 80% of the total price, okay? And what was the total price? Well, it was still $1,049. We just don't know what that price is, okay? But again, if I use fish method on this one, so 1,049 times 80 divided by 100, put that into the calculator, see what it gives you, and y'all check too. 1,049 times 80 divided by 100 equals 839.20, right? See that right there? It's the same exact number, 839.20. Same answer, it's just a different method that we can use. So when you're looking at discounts and even increases, right, which can include taxes, if you consider how that affects 100%, you can use those percentages, those new percentages, to find them. Okay, now I'll do that with the tax as well, because this one decreased the percentage, whereas taxes increased the percentage. And again, we can use that in order to find the tax directly, okay? Now, again, the question is, do they have enough money to pay for the computer after the tax? And they have $880, right? So now what we got to do is look at the tax. And I'm going to use the same method on each side, okay? So on the left, when I find the tax here, I'm going to have to add that to the total $839.20. And what was the tax? It was 5.25%, right? So 5.25. And when I get this number again, I'm going to need to add that to the 839.20, right? Okay. So this is how it sets up. Again, the 839.20, that's in the denominator because it's the total amount or the whole amount of the price after the discount. And once I apply fish method on this one, I get 839.20 times 5.25 divided by 100. Now let's see what this equals on the calculator, okay? 839.20 times 5.25 divided by 100 equals, and yeah, we're gonna have to round on this. I got 44.058. But I want this to the nearest penny, so I'm gonna round that penny up to 6. Okay, and again, we have to add that to the 839.20, so 44.06. What do we get on that? So 44.06 plus 839.20. Oh yeah, and we get a total of $883.26 right there. So that's more than the $880 that they had up here. So right away, I mean, yeah, we could definitely say that the answer is no, not enough money. But again, I'm going to show you the second method right there, right? So I could have gotten the $883.26 by using that first method, or the second method rather, in the percent proportion. Here's how we do that, okay? So once again, you'd be paying 100% of the discounted price, which is $883.26. But in addition to that, you have another 5.25%. So it's 100 plus the 5.25, because you're going to pay 100% of the computer, but then in addition to that, another 5.25%. That results in 105.25% of the total. So the 105.25 that I have in orange there is still a percentage, right? And what was it a percent of? Well, it was $39.20. We just got to figure out how much that is. And sure enough, let's go ahead and put this into the calculator with some fish method on this one. So 839.20 times 105.25 divided by 100. What does this equal? 839.20 times 105.25 divided by 100. And yeah, we get the same exact answer. See that? We get this equals $883. And I got 0.258, but again, that would round up to 0.26. In either case, whether you rounded that or not, you'd get the same answer that no, they do not have enough. They're going to have to save another $3.26. All right, stores need to make a profit on the items they sell. They sell products for more money than they pay for them. The amount of increase is called the markup. It is often a percent of the store's purchase price for the item. The selling price is what a customer pays for an item and is found by adding the markup to the store's purchase price. So a store pays $8.50 for a pair of jeans. If the markup is 75%, what is the selling price? So I'm going to do this two different ways, all right? The first way is to find the amount of markup and then add it into the price. So let's start with that method, okay? So it is a percent proportion. We know the percent is 75% increase. And the total amount right now is $8.50. So that's all you'd be paying if you were the store, but we're going to mark that up 75%. And then we're going to have to add that into the $8.50 to figure out how much a customer would pay for these jeans. So we're going to use fish method to solve this one. So let's set it up the same way, 850 times 75 divided by 100. And yeah, just put this into the calculator and see what it is. So what do we get on this one? I got 6.375. So yeah, I'm going to round that up to 6.38 on this one. That's how much the markup is, but once again, I do need to add that to the $8.50. So I got the $8.50 here. Let's go ahead and add that. That's a 5 right there. And when I add it in, what do I get? I got $14.88 right there, okay? So that's how much the jeans would sell for with 75% markup on $8.50. But there is a different way to do it, okay? So I'm going to point out the difference between these two right now, and that is if you find the amount that the 75% is, you can add that amount at the very end. But the way this method works, just like we saw in that last example, is it's like finding the change or the amount of increase at the beginning, which has to be done with the percentages, right? So 100% of the price is still $8.50, so that's still in the denominator right there. But now, what are you going to pay? How much percentage are you going to pay for these jeans? Well, you're going to pay 100% of the price that the store bought them for, plus another 75% of that amount, which means you're paying actually 175% of what the store paid, right? And then whatever we get after solving this is how much you will pay for the jeans. So fish method will work again. So that's 850 times 175 divided by 100. And yeah, what do we get on that one? I got 14.875. So I'm going to round that to 8 right there. So $14.88. See how this is the same answer, right? And it is. It's supposed to be the same answer because the only difference is with the first method, just once again, is we added the amount at the end, the $6.38. That's the increase. But with this second method, we added the percent at the very beginning. So whether you do it at the end or the beginning, you get the same answer. And the methods are pretty much the same. I mean, whether you're using fish method or cross multiplication, it's not going to matter. You'll get the same answer either way. And yeah, that's the nice thing. So it goes back to preference, right? Do you want to find the 75% and add it at the end, or do you want to add it at the beginning and then figure out your answer that way? It's not going to matter. Choose whichever way you like most, though. So if one way confuses you more than the other, choose the one that confuses you less or that you feel like you understand better. But I like to show both ways so that you can make decisions yourself on the problems we're going to be doing. But for the most part, I'll be doing it this way, doing it at the end, because generally speaking, I find that most students, they at least maybe they've understood it this way in the past, okay? So number 5, 10 pounds of potatoes cost $1. Approximately 0.17 pounds of potatoes are needed to make one small serving of French fries at McDonald's. Small order of fries is $1.20. Find the markup on fries at McDonald's from the potatoes. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at rates on this, right? So we're going to look at the raw potatoes to start with, okay? So the raw potatoes, it's $1 for 10 pounds. So I'm going to do it as a dollars per pound scenario right here. And of course that would be 10 cents or $0.1 per 1 pound right there, okay? So that's the raw potatoes, 10 cents per pound. But after they've been fried, so let's look at this one. So after they've been served or fried or however you want to say it from McDonald's, right? It's $1.20 for one serving. And how many pounds is that one serving? Well, it's 0.17 pounds on that one. So yeah, I'm going to use my calculator to figure this one out. But it's going to tell me how much that would cost for 1 pound, right? So that I can compare these directly across with 1 pound increments. So I got 1.20 divided by 0.17, and I get $7 and, well, it'd be rounded to 6 cents on this. $7.06 for 1 full pound of fries. Okay, so what is the markup on this one? I'm going to find both markups because I'm not completely sure if they mean the percent markup or if they mean the per pound markup. And we're going to need the per pound markup for the percent markup anyways. So they're going to sell these for $7.06, right? That's the selling price. But how much do they cost per pound? Well, it's only 10 cents. So if I subtract that out of the $7.06, it will tell me how much these cost or how much the price was increased from the raw potatoes to the served potatoes. And of course, there's lots of things that factor in if you're looking at this economically, but we're not concerned with that right now, okay? So that would be, it looks like $6.96. Yeah, I did that backwards right there. Actually, let me just check on my calculator because like I did that wrong. Yeah, $6.96 markup, right? So if by chance you were asked this question on the homework, they should show the label, or they should be a little bit more specific on what they're looking for. But since I don't know, I'm going to do both. And it's a $6.96 markup. But what is that in percentage? Well, this goes back to the last lesson that we just barely did on percent increases. So how much did it increase? Well, the price was increased by $6.96. But what was the original price per pound? Well, that would be the raw price, which is at 10 cents per pound. So when we solve this one, this will tell us as a percent. And if you wanted the percent right away, you just multiply that by 100. Otherwise, it's going to give us a decimal value correctly. So 6.96 divided by 0.1, that's 69.6. But after multiplying that by 100, you get 6,960% increase in the price, right? And that kind of makes sense because you're paying raw potatoes, you'd be paying 10% per pound for those potatoes, but it's increased up to $7.06, which is, it's almost 700 times, or I'm sorry, 70 times what we started with. So yeah, we would expect a number like this one in terms of increase, which again it's related to the lesson that we did last time right there. So one of these would work for the assignment, but again, they'll be a little bit more specific on the assignment, which one they want. All right, here's a percent decrease review. Miss Bagley's husband likes to buy furniture on sale. This is a picture of the actual price tag from the last chair he bought. What is the discount percent? Well, there's a couple things on this one, right? Is we're looking at the amount that it used to be and the amount that it is now, $25. And just, hopefully visually you can even tell that that's a pretty big decrease in the price, right? And they told us how much was saved, and we can just double check that, right? If you said, well, how much was it decreased? 504 minus 25, and yeah, you'll get the 479 right there. So it decreased, or you saved $479 right there, okay? Now, for the percent increase or decrease, yeah, we're going to have to multiply that by 100. That's our numerator right there, because that's the change. That's the amount that the price changed, and it did go down. So yeah, it's a percent decrease, which we'll label that in the end. But how much did it start out as? Well, it was $504 to start out with. Okay, so the only time we used the $25 was in figuring out how much the price changed. And this is something we can put directly in the calculator. 479 divided by 504 times 100. And I got, as a decimal anyways, it's pretty ugly decimal actually, 95.039. I'll just round that up to the nearest hundredth. And yeah, that's a percent decrease. So from the original price, they decreased at 95, around 95% here. And so if you pay $25 for this chair, or furniture, whatever it is, you would have paid, about, I guess that's 4.96% of what the original price was. Or again, you can look at it like this, as a 95.04% off of the original price. All right, so that concludes this lesson. Again, our objective, I can find tips, tax, commissions, and discounts. We didn't really look at commissions, but it's going to work the same way as a tax, just in case you guys see that. Taxes work the same way as tips, which we have seen. So now's a good time. If you guys feel good about this stuff, you can keep studying. But I would recommend grabbing a computer, getting started on the assignment, and doing that assignment. Bring your questions for next time. I can answer those next time, but obviously I can't through the video. So, but I'll be putting this video on Canvas so you guys can watch it or rewatch it if you need to. So thanks. Make sure, again, that you guys take the last 10 minutes of class to put the computers away and the calculators, please, and pick up the floor. Yeah, that's the nice thing to do, please. All right, and we'll see you guys next time.